Though this is in the wifey type series, honey, you don't have to be a wife to be a good mother. The child just turned 18. I think the news said a week ago. So he's still a child. Someone was responsible for attending to this child's emotional needs, and they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. We keep dropping the ball. How do we keep dropping the ball? Because mama is more focused on looking good than being good. Not another person, another woman, another person in general cannot effectively care for your children if you are holding on to them. And when I say holding on to them, I mean you got a spiritual hold on those children, but you refuse to do the work. So be a woman of integrity. And if you're not going to do the work, let go. At the end of the day, the clock goes back around. Come on, Naomi. The clock goes back around. At the end of the day, the children who you once were in charge of taking care of are then in charge of taking care of you. What are you to do when you didn't do that work? How do you let go of them? You're going to have to tell the truth. You're going to have to be honest. You're going to have to say, I'm self-absorbed. It's all about me. I want to figure out my life and I can't do it. You're going to have to be that honest, because as long as you're not that honest and you leave these children out here in the wind without your truth, we're going to have a problem. Nobody else is going to be able to help them. Hello, and welcome to another video. So today, this video was really impromptu and just very out here. So the setup looks a little different. You might hear some noise in the background because both of my children are at home today, but I really want to talk to you guys about this, and I feel like I want to talk about it now. So I am sitting here, my husband sent me a message, and if you guys don't know, my husband actually works for the school system, the public school system. So he sent me a message this morning. Now, he sent me a message this morning saying that there was a school shooting. And I'm like, Lord. And just a little backstory. As you guys know, I posted a video and I said that I actually had to pull my daughter out of daycare again. This is the second time I've had to pull her out of daycare. This time I didn't necessarily have to pull her out of daycare like immediately. Like she could have still stayed there, but there's just this knowing in my heart that says, Tanzania, it's time to move in a different direction. And though that is uncomfortable sometimes, you have to be willing to move in a different direction, especially if you're a mother, and especially since this is in our wifey type series, especially if you are a wife. You have to learn to move even when you don't know why God is moving you, and be comfortable and confident in the direction that you need to move in. So you guys know I tried this a while ago and it didn't work out like I wanted it to work out. Ended up finding another daycare, which is great. And that still didn't work out like I wanted it to work out. I didn't know if I was going to share this, but I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys. Sometime, last year, was it 2 years now? So we're going on 2 years now. The Lord gave me a dream, and you know, sometimes you have pizza dreams, and then sometimes you have dreams that are like, you know, that they're life changing. I have been gifted and blessed in the area to know the difference between the two of those dreams. In that dream, I was in this home, and the home was full of kids. And when I woke up from that dream, I prayed about it, and I asked, like, God, what is that about? And he let me know that he wanted me to foster children. Now, if you guys don't know, I have a child that I placed for adoption. I have a stepchild that recently went to live with her mother, and I have 2 children who live in my home with me. And I have 2 more bonus daughters who they've never lived with us. But I've had some deep heartbreak in the area of dealing with children. So for God to reveal to me that he wants me to again be in a situation where I am dealing with children, and not just dealing with children any old kind of way, like dealing with children who have had traumatic experiences and who have traumatic issues is really heavy. Okay, so here's the truth is out now. You guys know why I've been dancing with daycare, dancing with just this whole thing, because I've been trying to run away from the calling. Okay. And in that dream, I'm going to go ahead and say, in that dream, I also had a massage business. So I know that massage is going to continue to be a part of my life. However, I have been very teeter-totterish on, do I want to continue doing massage content? Do I want to continue going forward in massage? But there's just this little part of me over here that says, remember what God said about those children. So I tried to make my own vision. I told you guys about that. I tried to make something work myself. I went into work at a daycare. Honey, that was a mess. I thought about opening my own daycare again, and that's not gonna go. I'm gonna do exactly what God said. So pulling my daughter out of daycare, kind of pushes me back into that mindset and mind frame to be at home, to be present in my mind and be presently nurturing and finding out not only what my child needs, but in the future what other children may need. So that brings me to our conversation today. And that is, you have to have a sense of knowing and a sense of nurturing that can't be bought in an e-guide, honey, that cannot be. You can't get it just by flipping through the Bible. You won't be able to get it just by wearing some kind of crystal bracelet on your arm. You have got to be on your knees day in and day out. And when I say on your knees, when I say on your knees, I really just mean a posture that you're on your knees and you're praying to God. But you don't have to do it on your knees. Honey, you can sit right here at a desk and you can do it. You can wake up early in the morning and you can do it in your bed. But you are going to need a consistent posture of prayer and sacrifice and this just nurturing, loving kind of posture that you can't buy. You can only get it through relationship with God. You're going to need that to be a wife and to be a mother that is worthy of the calling. You're going to need that. Man, when I saw this school shooting thing, and recently a child at my husband's school actually committed suicide, it breaks my heart because children are children. Children cry out, okay? People cry out. People don't do stuff like this to themselves, to other people, and not give hints. And if you are a mother, if you're a wife, and if you're not discerning, and you're not being spiritually aware of the battles that we as people face, and moreover, the battles that the people in your home face, you're doing them a disservice. Tanzania, I don't want to do all that. I just, I want to spend his money, and I want to have babies, and I want, I get all that, but we've got to get past that. We've got to get past that because the children are suffering. Okay? The children are suffering. That was, I believe at this point, 21 people. That's 21 people who have lost a person in the midst of someone not being attentive to what's going on in their house. The child just turned 18. I think the news said a week ago. So he's still a child. Someone was responsible for attending to this child's emotional needs, and they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. We keep dropping the ball. How do we keep dropping the ball? Because mama is more focused on looking good than being good. Mama is more focused on looking good than being well for her family and for her children. I understand that. I like to look good too. But at no point of time am I going to sacrifice the spiritual well-being of my children and of my family to be so self-absorbed and self-consumed. How do you get to that place, Tanzania? Honey, you do exactly what you're doing right now. You listen to people who speak life into your life. I have a book right here. I'm not gonna say the name of the book right now, but I have a book right here that I'm working on. I have a bookcase full of books over there that I read. None of the books are just foolishness. I mean, there's like two of them, like 2-3 of them. They're just little books. But most of those books are about wholeness, about wellness, about, bettering yourself, about stories of women in the Bible. Like most of those books, leadership, most of those books about how to better myself. Why do I want to better myself? Because stuff comes up in life where sometimes you need an extra push. But let's not forget, especially if your decision was to have children, that you owe those children something. You have to sacrifice all that, okay? You got to put all that dime for a time period, not for the rest of your life, for a time period to say, okay, I got to go all in on this. If I've got to wake up at 2:00 in the morning and I have got to get on my knees and I've got to be prayerful and intentional about what the heck is going on in my house. Why my children acting like this? Why my children acting like that? You need to do that. And take it from me, a mother who stepped off of that rock quite a few times. Like I said, I'm not coming to you guys with this series because I think I'm perfect. Absolutely not. I'm coming because I don't want you to make the same mistakes. I don't want your children to suffer in the way that mine have because of some mistakes I made, some points that I missed out on, some teachings that just simply weren't being taught to me. People were very closed-minded and closed-mouthed. Let's say 10 years ago. I mean, my son, my oldest son is 13. He'll be 14 this year. People weren't very closed-lipped, especially when they found out, when the family found out, when I found out that I was pregnant at 14 years old. I remember why my mom was mad. She was mad because she then found out that there were other people in the family who had children young. Those are generational things that could have been addressed had we been open-mouthed, okay? Had we been truthful about some struggles, okay? But people like to be so secret. I don't have time to be secretive. I really don't. And 21 people dead. 21 people have lost their lives. You don't have time to be secretive either. You don't have time to be secretive either. We got to get it out. We got to get down. We got to get down to the root and the truth of this thing. I cannot tell you, both of these kids up here coughing. I cannot tell you how many times God said do something as it relates to my children, just as it relates to a decision. And I was very reluctant to do it. And at the end of the day, I end up being like, man, I'm glad I did that. When I closed down the suite, I told you guys that wasn't something that I wanted to do. However, I knew that more was on the horizon for me to accomplish. And being in the suite just to say I got a suite, just to say I do in-suite massage was a very small piece of a big picture that God was trying to create for me. So I had to let that go to move forward. Okay, sometimes you gotta let things go. And let me tell you, if you're a woman and you say, you know what? I'm more interested in getting myself a man. I'm more interested in me and how, my life is going to benefit me. If you're like that, place your children in places. Pray about it. Heck, place your children in places where someone else can care for them. Like I said, I'm going to do fostering. Place your children. Do like this. But you know what? You know what I found? Oh man, we're gonna go there. I found that you cannot care for a child. Like I told you, I have bonus children. And one of my bonus daughters actually lived with us. I learned something very important in that whole thing. And also, like I said, I remained very prayerful, and God really told me what I need to do and when I need to do it. You cannot, another person, another woman, another person in general, cannot effectively care for your children if you are holding on to them. And when I say holding on to them, I mean you got a spiritual hold on those children, but you refuse to do the work. So be a woman of integrity. And if you're not going to do the work, let go. Do the work that it takes to fully let go of those children so that they can live fulfilled lives. How do you let go of them? You're going to have to tell the truth. You're going to have to be honest. You're going to have to say, I'm self-absorbed. It's all about me. I want to figure out my life and I can't do it. You're going to have to be that honest, because as long as you're not that honest and you leave these children out here in the wind without your truth, we're going to have a problem. Nobody else is going to be able to help them because you got that motherly spiritual hold on them, and nobody else can fill that place aside from you. Like I said, I feel very unqualified to talk about this, right? Because I placed a child for adoption when I was either 18 or 19, for a fact knowing that I could not do this because of the circumstance in which she was created. I was very spiritually aware at that point, but I knew for a fact that I would not be able to move forward and create a life for myself that she could then later on in her life come in to join if she so chooses, if I did not right there clear some things up. And the truth is, this story can't move forward like this. I didn't have all the resources that I have now. I didn't have the mindset that I had now. I'm grateful that the Holy Spirit literally came into a moment and said, this right here, this is the best decision that you can make. Because being in that position would have left me stuck in this position, and I would have never been able to get to here. So now, because I'm here and here is really here, and I can see all of this down here, I'm able to put some things together that I would have never been able to get to had I not followed the prompting of the Holy Spirit and got to that. So I want to tell you that you need to have a sense of knowing. You need to be very intentional, mother, because these children, they are hurting. They're hurting. They're hurting, and then they're imposing their pain on other people. Now, kids do silly stuff, okay? You hear that? That's kids do silly stuff. But at no point in time is you need to keep chunking up their silly stuff to the fact that there's not an underlying problem. You need to be intentional so that if there is an underlying problem, the Holy Spirit can reveal to you that problem, and you can do the work to get to the root of it. This is true motherhood. This is what being a wife and a mother and a steward of your home looks like. Honey, it don't look like grocery shopping. And Kitty, don't put that in there. Oh no, it goes in there. Okay, it's okay. Push it in there. You can push it in there. It doesn't look like grocery shopping and cute clothes. It looks like prayer. It looks like fasting. It looks like sacrifice. That's what it looks like. That is what it looks like. And whenever you try to take that away and you try to be mixing and twisting and putting other people in those places, and stop doing the work that it takes to become fully whole yourself, the children suffer. The children suffer. And we haven't gotten a chance to see fully what it looks like when the children suffer on our end, right? Because we haven't gotten old enough. And I'm speaking of, my generation and just, my generation, the younger generation. We haven't gotten old enough to see the true effects on what it looks like when you don't step into your role as a mother, what it looks like to your children, what it looks like to your children in their future, and what it looks like to your future. Because at the end of the day, the clock goes back around. Come on, Naomi. The clock goes back around. At the end of the day, the children who you once were in charge of taking care of are then in charge of taking care of you. What are you to do when you didn't do that work? What are you to do when you never make the sacrifices to take care of the children and to depart into those children the seeds that you were supposed to? What does that look like for your life later on? That looks like them not taking care of you. That looks like them never having the tools to be able to turn back around and take care of you. And we have not fully gotten a chance to see the implications of our actions. And that's why I'm making this series. That's why I've made this video today, Mom, Wife, because I don't want you to be a part of that. And though this is in the wifey type series, honey, you don't have to be a wife to be a good mother. Before I became a wife, I made it my business to become a better mother. I made it my business to become a better mother. Before I decide, I want to be a good friend, I made it my business to become a better mother. And if that looks like, some people might not like this, but I told you guys, I'm going to link that video for you guys actually. I told you guys in the video when I talked about my husband and I going our separate ways. The thing that changed my mind about how I was going to move forward as far as dating and having a man in my bed was my daughter. When my husband came to pick her up that day, how she ran through the house, into the garage, into his arms. I knew for a fact that in order for her to stay on a good track, in order for her to have a good perception of men and families in life, I was going to have to be in a season of singleness until she was well old enough to be able to understand. Are all children like that? Absolutely not. That's a part of your discernment. That's a part of you doing the work that it's going to take to know what it is that your child needs in a season. And sometimes, Mom, it's not us having a man in my bed. The first year that my son came back to live with me, I knew it couldn't be me having a man in my bed. It needed to be a season of doing some work to patch up some of these spaces that were missing. And my God, I'm glad that I did. Because now he can trust my journey. He can trust my words. He can trust my advice. I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video helps someone to get back in the ring. Okay, honey, you can fall out of the ring however many times you need to fall out of the ring, but you need to keep getting back in the room because your children, they need you.